guys, welcome back to Wix Fix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And welcome to the second episode of Fix Your Wix, the show where I take one of my subscribers' websites and completely redesign their homepage. Not only does this give me the opportunity to teach you guys some more web design, but it also gives that subscriber a new homepage design. If you're interested in being in a future episode of Fix Your Wix, be sure to click the link in the description and fill out the form. But let's go ahead and dive straight into the video. So this is the website that we will be working on today. It is for a non-profit tennis club. Now, something that I did notice that I really want to give this person some props for is that they used strips. They followed some of my pro techniques in adding a strip to your header and splitting in half to make a wider website. However, there are still a lot of things that we can improve this website. So let's go ahead and get started. And before we get started, I do want to mention that only 15% of my viewers are actually subscribed. So if you're new around here or you've been viewing my videos for a while, I want to challenge you to subscribe to the channel if you find this video useful at any point. Subscribing helps the channel grow. It also tells YouTube's algorithm that people are enjoying the content and they should promote the videos more. That way more people get the help that they need. But with that out of the way, let's dive right into the video. The first thing that I want to touch on is this header. For me, it is way too large, especially since it follows you down the website. If you're gonna have a header this large, you don't want it to follow us down the website because it takes up so much real estate on your website. So the first thing we're gonna tackle is this header. So let's start with the left side. This logo right here in the left is kind of outdated and kind of large. So we can either shrink it down quite a bit, but then it's kind of hard to read. So personally, I don't think I really want to use this for this design. And I did this little mock-up design of like a potentially new logo. It's a lot more minimal, which is the style that I'm going for this website. But since we have the name in the logo, we no longer need it here because then it's just repetitive. Also, I'm not a huge fan of having the phone numbers in the header. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete these as well. Now let's take a look at this left side. Right up here, it says book online members only. So instead of this, what we could do is let's see if there's another design. Let's do something like this button. Let's expand it out a little bit and then let's change the text to maybe like members bookings. Okay, and then we can shrink it down a little bit just like that. And I feel like that looks a lot cleaner than having a button with some text underneath it. So we can go ahead and delete the members only thing now. The next thing we have here is this login bar, which this might be useful, especially for this company. So we're gonna leave it there. And then if we look right here, this menu is taking up a lot of space. And I really feel like with a lot of modern websites, they're honestly going more towards like the hamburger menu that you see on mobile. So we're gonna replicate that. So we're gonna go to decorative. We're gonna go to basic shapes and more basic shapes. Then in here, we're gonna type in lines and we're just gonna choose our favorite one. For this example, let's go ahead and choose this hamburger menu right here. We'll bring it up into the header. We'll shrink it down quite a bit, obviously. And then we'll stick it over here to the right. And now we can go ahead and delete this one and we'll design the menu at a later time. So now that our header has all the correct content, now we can start editing the design of the header a little bit more. So the first thing I want to do is click the strip in the background and I'm going to remove the stretched. I typically, for this example, I think I just want to manually handle it myself. And I'm gonna stick the logo right about here. We're gonna come over here and drag this out to about right here. And then we can raise this strip up quite a bit. Typically with headers and stuff like that, they're typically about 111 in height. 110, so we're just going to do that. And then we can just center all of this content inside of it to the strip, or I guess horizontally or vertically. And then we can go ahead and bring in the logo as well. And now we can edit this header design. So as you can see here, there's this green little strip right here for the header, which is the border. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. We're going to go to design, customize design, borders, and we're just going to remove it completely. Also for the background, maybe we want to do a different color. I think something like this color might do for this website, so we're going to go with it. And then we're going to remove the background or the center background right here completely. And now we can just raise the strip up to, or we can raise the header up to the strip in our header. And that is our header for now. The next thing that we see here is this hero section, which right here, if you notice, they used one of my image overlays to create like this rounded border. However, for this website, I don't really know if it's going to work, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one. And then for this hero section, this typically needs to be a little bit larger because this is the first thing that your users are going to see on your website. So I'm actually going to make this one about 715 pixels in height. And then you can see it's kind of affecting this content down here. So I'm just going to move this down for now. And then right here, you can see their like tagline, and it says tennis for everyone. Now it's very hard to read in my opinion. So there's a number of things that we can do. Firstly, we can choose a different image. I typically want to do something right here that's more of like an action shot of some sort. So let's choose something like this one right here. Okay, and then of course we want to make sure that the parallax is on as well. So as you can see, the text is already starting to show up a little bit better. However, it's still a little hard to read. So what we can do is put a box behind it. So let's go ahead and grab a box. We're going to go to add box, and let's just drag this one out right here. And we're going to make this one about like 490 and 290 in height, something like that. And then let's go ahead and bring the text in front, and let's go ahead and edit the text. Now the font that they're using in their logo is called Booksman, and this is a free font that I found online, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this dark brown, and I'm also going to lower the pixel size to 60. Now I apologize for this editor. I think it's kind of glitching out on me a little bit, so be patient with me as I try to work through these glitches. Here we are, and I'm going to go ahead and shrink this up a little bit. I'm going to move 4 to the top line, something like that. And then I'm also going to go ahead and remove the shadow effect, so it's just like that. I'm going to make sure it's in the box, and I'm going to go ahead and center it just like that. I'm going to move it up just a little bit, and then maybe as a little accent we can go ahead and add a line. So I'm going to come over to decorative. Let's choose this line right here, so it's kind of on brand with their current colors, and we're going to go ahead and put it right there, right under everyone. And then I just want to copy this button, and then I'm going to paste it in right here, and let's say like become a member. But now as you can see, this box is kind of covering the shot that we want to show. So what I'm going to do is click the strip, come over to layouts, and align it to the right. And then I kind of want this container box to be at the bottom, so we'll put it at the bottom. And I kind of want it to line up with the right side of this menu icon, so we're just going to move it over until it connects. So if we scroll down, we're going to see that the next section that we have is like the about section. And we also have a COVID statement. I mean, we're kind of getting to the point where these aren't as needed on the homepage. So maybe we could have like a little button here or link that directs the users to your COVID statement, but it doesn't necessarily need to take up so much space on your homepage. And then underneath that, we have like their services. And so I feel like for a homepage, it might be more important and more valuable for your company to showcase your services higher up on the page. So I'm just going to go ahead and move this repeater up right underneath the hero section. Now, of course, I don't want it right underneath it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is add a strip. I'm going to make it 100 pixels in height, and I'm going to remove the background color completely. If we notice in the header, it's kind of like this brown color, and same with this box. So we kind of want the background color to represent that as well. So I'm going to come over to background, choose a color, and we're going to choose that same color just like that. Okay, so now that we have this spacing strip here, I'm going to go ahead and move this repeater up, right up against that spacing strip. And now let's go ahead and start working on this repeater. Now, if you look at this, it still it has like a little bit of a border, which I'm not too big of a fan of. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that completely. Also, if you notice, this text isn't quite in the center. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just come over to align and align it to the center, just like that. Also, I kind of want these items to kind of be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to kind of expand the width a little bit. And what I'm looking for is I'm hoping to align it with this item right here. So that way these kind of line up together. And then I'm going to grab the container box inside of it and make sure it stretches with it. And then I'm going to go ahead and center up this text again. And now let's go ahead and switch over to the hover mode. Now for this mode, having this text here looks a little weird, so I'm just going to go ahead and hide it. Also, this background, I feel like it's a little too opaque, so I'm going to go ahead and press design and lower it down just a little bit, like maybe to 80%. And then also I'm gonna go ahead and edit the design. I'm gonna remove the background color. The text, we're gonna make sure it is set to white. The border, we're gonna set to white as well. And then I'm gonna come down to icon and turn that off because we really don't need it. And then for hover, we're gonna change the background color to this right here. And we're gonna make sure that the text is still set to white. So now basically this section is done. So if we preview the site, this is what we're gonna see now. Now for me, this text is really close to the edge and I kind of want to add some more spacing. So let's actually go ahead and do that real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and press shift. I'm gonna grab this and press shift a couple times, just like that. And then for this button, I'm gonna press shift and the right arrow key to move it over 10 pixels. All right, just like that. I think that looks way better. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and press save and exit hover mode. Okay, the next section I want to cover is this about section. However, I do want the same amount of space between this sections and the about section. So what I'm gonna do is just click this spacing strip, press copy and paste it, and I'm gonna bring it below this repeater, just like that. And now let's go ahead and add another strip. So we'll go to add strip and we'll bring this one out just like this. For this strip, we're gonna make it about 800 pixels high. We're gonna change the background to an image. And since this is gonna be about them, we can go ahead and choose a photo showing their tennis club. So we're gonna go ahead and select this one. Perfect. Of course, we wanna make sure that parallax is on. And then what I wanna do is go ahead and align everything to the left. Actually, let's do right. And now what I want to do is go ahead and press add. We're gonna come down to box. We're gonna drag out this box right here. For this box, we're gonna make it about 890 in width and about 600 in height. And then what we're gonna do is go ahead and align it to the left, and we're going to center it inside the strip, just like that. Okay, so up here, we're gonna have the about title and then the about text. So let's go ahead and add that. For this one, again, we're using the Booksman and we're leaving the font size at 32 pixels. For this text, we are using Montserrat at 16. And you know what? Let's go ahead and add a little bit of line spacing because it does look a little too cramped. So let's go ahead and make it about 1.6, something like that. The next thing I want to add is a little call to action to learn more about them on the about page. So we're gonna add a little button here, and maybe to the right of that button, we can add a little COVID guidelines button. Okay, so I added a button here. And then to the right of that, I added some text that says learn about our COVID guidelines. And this text would link to their COVID guidelines on some other page. And as you can see here, we have a bunch of space left over. And what we could do is just shorten it up and just leave it as is. However, I kind of want to add a little gallery there. So let's go ahead and press add. We're going to go to gallery and let's choose something like this one right here. And let's select this text. We're going to see that the width of this text is 783. So let's just go ahead and apply that to this as well. And then we are going to shrink this up quite a bit. And we're going to put it right here. And let's go ahead and shrink it. Let's lower the height even a little bit more, just like that. And of course, let's go ahead and replace the media. So I'm going to select all and delete all. And I'm going to select some images from their site. Okay, and then if we look in the settings here, I also changed a little bit of the layout stuff as well. So I turned off the heart icon. I also kind of took away the navigation and stuff like that. So the only thing you can actually do with this is just kind of scroll through the images, but I still think that looks really nice. And now the about section is complete, so we can go ahead and delete these strips right here. And the next section is this little repeater right here. Honestly, I really don't think that a repeater is really useful here, especially since this text has 3 lines, this one has 2, and this one has 1. Repeaters are a little wonky when it comes to consistency. Because this one is 2 lines, it pushed everything down. And because this one's 3 lines, everything is so oddly spaced on the other ones. So I don't think a repeater for this is actually a very good option. Instead, what we're gonna do is add another strip here with 4 different columns. But of course, we want to make sure that our spacing is consistent. So we're gonna go ahead and copy this spacing strip and we're gonna bring it down and put it right here. And then we're gonna add another strip. So we're gonna come over to strip, add classic. We're gonna make this one about 300 in height. We're gonna change the background color to something like this one. But then we're gonna go into the settings and lower the opacity to something like 8. Next, we're gonna press this stretched icon and we're gonna give it like 100 pixels of margin. And then we're gonna press layout and add column. We're gonna go to manage columns and add 2 more. And then we're gonna press layouts one more time. And we're gonna add 20 pixels of spacing in between each of those columns. So now what I want to do is add text inside of each one of these with this text right here and maybe a button to those spots. Okay, here we are. So for this top one right here, we made this one the Booksman at 22 font size. For this one, of course, we made Montserrat Light at 16 pixels. And then we just added a button that corresponds to their YouTube channel or something, their rules page, their reservations page, and then maybe a page about their benefits. So now that that's complete, we no longer need this repeater, so we'll go ahead and delete it. And then, of course, we want to add some more spacing down below. Perfect, and now we can go ahead and start on the next section. Now, on their current site, they move straight to like their contact information and stuff like that. However, I do want to add one more section here that is kind of talking about like becoming a member, or like a call to action to become a member. So I'm gonna go ahead and add another strip. We're gonna make this one 700 pixels in height, and we're gonna choose another background image of their tennis club. And for this one, let's do something a little crazy. Let's do something like pan left. So now when the user scrolls down, it kind of looks like that instead. Now it's not as smooth, so if you just want to be safe, just choose parallax, because that one's, it's been around for a while and they've kind of perfected that one. This pan left one is still a little bit new, so it doesn't look as nice quite yet. But what I want to do is maybe add a call to action to become a member. So what I'm going to do is add a box. Okay, we're going to go ahead and center it up. And then let's add like a title, a little description, and a button. Okay, perfect. And we're basically done with this section. Now we can go into their hours and their contact information and stuff like that. Now, personally, I really don't think that these maps are really useful anymore. I don't really see these on any like modern web designs. So we're gonna go ahead and delete the map, and we're gonna delete Find Us. Now for this one, let's go ahead and make sure that this is Booksman Old to match the font of their logo. We're gonna remove the underline and we're gonna make it that brown. And let's go ahead and just say location and hours, something like that. And then I kind of want their address to be right here underneath it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. For this one, let's go ahead and make it Montserrat. And we'll do something like maybe medium. We'll make it 16 pixels. And we're gonna make it kind of like a dark black, something like that. Next, we can do the hours, which we can put right here, which seems to be like a container box. I don't know why that's there. So we're just gonna remove that. That might have been an accident. So we'll go ahead and delete that container box because we don't need it. And then we'll go ahead and make sure that this font is set to Montserrat Light, and we'll make sure it is set to 16 pixels. And then of course we want to change the font to something black like that. And then for this button, we're gonna go ahead and change the design, which I don't feel like customizing it again. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just grab something from up here and paste it down here. And we'll change the text to contact. Okay, and now I'm just gonna group these all together, and I'm gonna move them out of the strip real quick because I want to add another column. So over here, now I'm gonna drag these back down here, and I'm gonna center these up just like that. Then I'm gonna copy and paste this one over here. And I know this person wants to do something with donations, so maybe they can have like a little donations call to action here. And we can move this text up. And it can say something like this, and then of course we want it to make sure it's black, and make sure that it is set to Montserrat Light at 16 pixels. Okay, and then maybe we can expand this one out just a little bit more, something like that. And then maybe this button can say donate today. Okay, then we're gonna bring it right underneath it and then give it 20 pixels of spacing, and it'll look something like that. So now I kind of just want to bring this up against this strip right here, and we don't need this strip below it, so we're going to go ahead and delete it. And now we can start working on the footer. Let's start with this social bar. For this one, obviously black won't work, so we don't want to use black. Instead, let's go ahead and use their white one. So we'll go ahead and type in Facebook and click their white one just like that. And then for the size, we don't want it this big. It can be something like 20. So it can be maybe like 26, something like that size. Okay, and here is some more information about their company. However, I kind of just wanted to add their logo. So let's go ahead and add their logo here. Now, of course, this background is kind of dark, so I created a light version of the logo as well. So we'll go ahead and drag this down and say move to footer. And we'll shrink it down quite a bit, so it'd be about this size. And we'll put it right here. Now for this information, like we don't need the name repeated. The address is literally right here, so we don't need it there. And we're already on the website, so we don't need the website there as well. So I think what we can do is maybe have their phone number and maybe their email here like that. And then of course we need to make sure it's Montserrat Light. And then for footer text, I typically like it to be a lot smaller. So we're gonna do something like 12. And then we'll bring it up a little bit and put the Facebook right underneath it, just like that. And now that we have their phone number and email right over here, we don't need it right there. So we'll go ahead and delete it. And then right over here on the right is their menu. So I kind of just want to shrink this up a little bit like that. And we really don't need the home page there. So what we can do is come over to menu and pages, and we're gonna say hide, because it doesn't need to be in the menu since we're already on the home page. But if you're not already on the home page, most people link their logo to the home page. So we can just link this one to the home just like that. And now they have a way to get back home. And then we can shrink up this footer size just a little bit. Now let's go ahead and work on this little icon, because right now their menu doesn't work. So what we want to do is go over to add. We'll go to interactive, we'll go to subscribe, and we'll pull out this one right here. Now, of course, we can just go ahead and delete all of the stuff that it comes pre-built with. We'll go ahead and click the background and press set trigger. Right up here, we're gonna name it menu, and we're gonna say automatically display lockbox to no instead of yes. Okay, next let's go ahead and press design, and we can go ahead and change it to a color if we want. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually choose an image. And for now, I'll just use an image of their tennis club. But for this, I'm going to choose a dark green as the background color, and I'm going to lower the opacity of the image to about 5%. Next, I want to add a menu. So we'll go to add, then we'll go to menu, and then we'll go to vertical menus. And we'll just drag this one out right here. And then what we want to do is go ahead and, of course, make sure that the font color is set to white. And the font is actually Montserrat Light. And make sure that size is about 16, but for this we can make it maybe like 24. Maybe we can make it like 20. And then for hover, we want to make sure it is set to a light color, like a brown, and maybe clicks can be dark brown as well. And then now that we have the design complete, we can go ahead and make sure it is centered up inside that little box. And then what you can do is we can go ahead and add that image that we added into the footer here as well. So we can shrink it down and bring it over here and put it right above, right there. And then of course, link this one to the home page. And you may not be able to see this, but there is like a light green border to this one, similar to the color it had before we changed it. So we're just gonna come over to the border and make sure it's set to white. Okay, perfect. So now we can go and exit this, and we can click this little menu icon, and we're going to link it to a light box called menu. And that's basically the homepage for the site. And of course, you don't want to forget to do mobile. Now I have a video already about my techniques for doing mobile. So if you don't already know how to do mobile web design, be sure to check out that video in the description below. But that's basically it for the video today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more Wix content coming out real soon. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you on the next one.